Hey everyone, I have just finished making my way through Someone to Wed by Mary Balogh. This is book 3 in the Westcott series, and I wanted to share a few thoughts that I had on it. The story itself is quite good. It moves the series forward in very interesting ways, and it left me with a few interesting impressions that I will be discussing in this video. Just beware that there will be some spoilers. As the series progresses, things feel a lot more rewarding as they happen, and the network of people that the main characters have access to is expanded and better known to the reader, and it makes things actually a joy to get through. The story itself begins with a wedding proposal from Ren to Alexander. He needs money, and she wants to marry someone, and she's also rich. But she is a recluse due to a birthmark on the side of her face that has shut her in for almost her entire life. She has no friends, nor any contact beyond the professional. The story moves as one would expect, but in very beautiful ways that are also rather painful to get through. Throughout the story, concepts of narcissistic wounds are explored extraordinarily, I think. It made me actually consider the importance of others in our lives, and not just brutally honest others, but others who want the best for us. If honesty comes from the latter, it's constructive. If it comes from other, more unconscious places, it can be traumatic. Ren's mother is an extremely vain person, and her version of honesty was to describe Ren's blemish as an abnormality that was enough to want to send her to an institution. Ren's mother's character is depicted a bit like a caricature, but it illustrates the point amazingly, I would say. The extremely self-centered, vain individual who holds physical beauty to such a large, important place that is blind to actual beauty, who seeks pleasure rather than joy, admiration rather than friendship. Someone for whom the world was a mirror to validate her own ideas of herself. She's even described as someone constantly surrounded by admirers under her spell. It was really wonderfully done by Mary Balogh. Ren's mother is the typical devouring mother archetype, and her honesty comes from that place. Her words could be technically true in some cases, but her intentions caused tremendous trauma in Ren, who wasn't able to overcome it until she discovered love from several places in Alexander and his family, the Westcotts. It made me think that how others see us depends greatly on ourselves, and not just on what we look like. It depends on how we behave and who we are to them. Ren's difficulty was also very nicely described, and the overcoming of her issues was very well explored in ways that were incredibly moving. Ren found love through care and physical validation, but I think context matters. Just like with honesty, care and affection can be void of value and empty, or they can be constructive. Also, a person may take honesty or care in one way or the other. In Ren's mother's case, she used her objective physical beauty, reflected by others, to build herself. Or like in Ren's case, one could use honesty and truth to liberate oneself. How we do what we do matters. And what we intend to do with what we do really matters. The other idea I was left with is how these wounds, valid and painful and unjust as they may be, can really make us extremely self-centered. For all she had suffered, Ren was very self-centered. Even her initial marriage proposal was a self-serving business deal. And I think this is one of those very tricky aspects of ourselves to navigate through. This is one of those places where most of our justifications come from. This is why I think navigating out of those behavioral issues is key for growth and for closing generational cycles of hurt. You end up owning the wounds done onto you and passing them on to others and feeling justified all the while, being objectively able to blame someone else for your woes, your mistakes, the hurts you bring onto someone else. And as depicted in Someone to Wed, it takes courage to dare to behave against all your programs and defense mechanisms. If Ren hadn't changed, she would have turned into her mother. Maybe not a vain woman exactly like Mom, but someone convinced that not looking perfect was enough of a reason to hide, and she would have passed that on to the future, living her life by her mother's narcissistic rules. Ren, daring to be wrong, was enough to kickstart the positive change truth had created a chance for in her life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to click subscribe and make sure to like this video and share it with your friends. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.